Hi friends, I'm on Koh Chang right now, which is a small island in the south of Thailand, and we're here for a couple of days. I wanted to make a video on how I studied during my vacation because JLPT is over and now I want to relax, but I still want to do a little bit of studying, especially my SRS systems. I didn't do them at all in the last couple of days before the JLPT and also not in the days after because I was really busy with doing practice exercises and also exploring Bangkok. So now I really want to catch up with my SRS systems, so this is what I'm focusing on right now. I already did my Kanji app yesterday and it took me over an hour to finish all the reviews. So I really want to stay on top of that the next couple of days. So this is what I will be doing right now, and I will review everything I did yesterday evening. And I also want to catch up with my Anki cards, and I set it that way that it won't show me any new cards until I'm finished with all the reviews, because right now I have over 400 cards, I think. So I really want to do them before I do any new cards. And I still have quite a few cards left from the N4 resources, so I also want to finish that before I start with the N3 resources. During our time in Thailand, it rained quite a lot because we came during the rainy season, but I still gave my best to enjoy myself by sitting in the hotel cafe and reading my book among the 2 cats and the 5,000 geckos, which always made really cute sounds. The cafe was so pretty and quiet since we were almost the only hotel guests, so I really made the most of it. The next day we went to the west part of the island to explore the beach and the more touristy area. It was so windy, but also really empty, so coming during rainy season definitely had its perks. Unfortunately, the joy didn't last long. Well, this didn't really go as planned. I thought we were going on the beach, just walking around, enjoying us, but I unfortunately didn't saw that there was a rock like under the sand. And when I stepped on this part of the beach, or on the sand just slipped away and my foot hit the stone underneath really heavy and they were quite sharp. So I basically injured the entire back of my foot and I had to go to the hospital because we just wanted to make sure that it doesn't get infected, because this would be unfortunate. And I also got a vaccination for like tetanus. I'm not allowed to go into the pool and I'm not allowed to get my foot red. I can't really walk a lot, so I guess I have a lot more time to study Japanese and read Japanese books than I originally thought, which is nice, but I also planned on doing a lot of other things here. But yeah, that's how it is. And because it's really hot and you can probably see that I'm sweating really hard right now, I want to take a bath, but I don't want to put my feet in there, so I will just put my body in there. And then I plan on reading, so let's do that. I did it! So now I'm reading the Naze Doshite Kagaku Hanashi is the name, I think. Like the one that I started with the mini immersion book club in March, probably. And I'm already 32% in. It's quite interesting so far. Yesterday I read a story about why cats sleep so much, which I didn't know. And I'm currently reading a story or an explanation about why you don't see swans in the winter in Japan. I already know the reason why, but it's a very good practice because if I know what they are trying to tell me, I can better understand the text. So it's a really good way to get some comprehensible input and to learn some new words. So that's what I'm gonna be doing right now, and I hope to cool off in the cold water. I also have a German dictionary that helps me to understand the words I don't know. So if I go over a word and let's say I don't know what aritsukeru means, it shows me the translation, like what it means in German and also how it's written in Kanji, for example. The Kindle will save all the words that you've looked up, and there's an application for the PC. I don't know how it's called right now, but I plan on making a video about that as well. And with this application, it will read all the information from the Kindle and it will make a list with all the words that I've looked up throughout the book. And this I can also sync to Anki and make Anki flashcards from those words. This means I don't have to sit there and write down the words that I don't know. I can also learn a few new words that I stumble across and that I find useful. And I'm not marking every word that I don't know, I'm just marking the one that I find useful so that I can go through the book when I'm finished with it and see what words I want to learn first, because there's no point in learning words that I won't really use. Even though I said before that I know that swans don't stay in Japan during the winter, I learned something new. And there are basically 3 kinds of swans they talked about, and one of them does stay in the winter in Japan. I didn't know that, so it's always great to read books that are aimed at children because you can still learn something. Since I can't just sit around, it's against my nature, we went on a bike ride a few hours ago and I hoped it would be fine with my leg, and it was alright. It was easier than to go by foot, so I'm really happy about that. And we also went to the 7-Eleven nearby because here's not a lot of things you can do around the hotel, and we just stocked up on beverages and a few snacks, and we got immediately surprised with heavy rain. This is quite typical for the area we are in right now in the season. And now I'm sitting by the pool with one leg in the water and I will review my kanji for the day. I already did my flashcards in the morning, and I also plan on exploring GoodNotes a bit because I thought about making a video about taking Japanese notes, and until now I mostly took notes in physical form, and I also wrote some notes on Word on my laptop, but I'm not really happy with my system, so I'm kind of dabbling in different ways to use digital notes. And that's my plan for the afternoon. And it feels pretty weird because the resort is really empty. There's only one couple that's here except for us and one lone guy, so we basically have the resort all to ourselves. It feels pretty privileged to have such luxury because the people that live here are not that wealthy. And when we were on our bike trip earlier today, we also saw a lot of old houses and a lot of simple houses which were really run down, and we felt kind of bad because of our standards of living and the standards of living here in Thailand. Especially my boyfriend, because he's Vietnamese, and in Vietnam his family also lives a more basic lifestyle compared to his family that lives here in Germany. So it was quite interesting, but also something to think about, and think about all the things that we have that we take for granted every day and that we should be definitely more grateful for. So this is a reminder to be grateful for all the things you have, even though it's just like maybe warm food or maybe a roof over your head that's not leaking when it rains. And yeah, enough talk. I will start studying right now. So I changed learning spots because the sun was way too heavy and I burn really fast. But this is also a nice spot, and now I want to do my Anki cards. There are a lot of cards that I have to go through. I don't feel like it, but I want to get back on track, so let's go! Today I want to write my Japanese diary entry for my time in Bangkok. I actually thought at the beginning of the trip that I might write a few sentences every day, but to be honest, my time in Bangkok was really busy because we just went shopping all day. And so I didn't really have time to do that because I also needed to edit my YouTube video that had to go live last weekend. So today is actually the first chance that I have to write the diary entry, and it's almost the end of our trip, unfortunately. But I came up with a pretty good idea, at least I think I came up with a good idea for writing my Japanese journal. I always do my Anki cards in the morning, and I thought about doing this a couple of times, but I never did it because I was too lazy. But if I know I want to write something on that day, like a little diary entry or maybe just a text about a certain topic, then it would be best to just look out for words during my Anki time that I want to use in this text. because most of the time when I write, I can't think of all the words that I actually know. So yeah, this is a good idea to just use words I wouldn't use otherwise. And for the text I want to write about Thailand, I wrote down, for example, Tsukare o toru and Kankyo no yasashi, and I just wrote them down in my notes app, where I also always make my rough draft of my writings. And then I just wrote my diary entry in German in my actual diary, because I thought this would also be a good idea, so that I have a rough plan on what I want to say in Japanese. And I don't want to translate it word by word, but I want to have a rough idea what I want to include, because it's not that easy for me to think in Japanese. And I actually started to write it in Japanese a little bit, but it's only a rough draft, so there might be a few mistakes in there, and I have to go over it after I finished it and check if I did everything correctly. And I also like to get corrections by native speakers, for example through HelloTalk, because then I can make really sure that I am learning things the right way and not learning my mistakes. I also want to make a second diary entry about my time in Koh Chang, probably tomorrow on my bus ride back to Bangkok, because it takes like 7 hours. And as I said in one of my last videos, the diary entries are just bonus. My main focus for learning during my vacation was to catch up with my Anki cards, which didn't really happen, because I actually did Anki cards and I did like 30 minutes to an hour a day, but I'm still way behind. I still have 600 cards I need to go through, because every day there are more coming back because of review, so it's always staying around 600 cards, which is a bit annoying. And to be honest, I am a bit overdoing my Anki cards, but I don't know what else I want to do instead, because Anki is actually really handy because of the spaced repetition system, and I know if I wouldn't use Anki, I wouldn't have been able to learn so much Japanese in such a little amount of time before the JLPT. I don't know, maybe I have to do more example sentences that relate to my life. Not quite sure yet. But I hope I will figure it out the next couple of weeks. We're also planning on doing a little trip today. We want to go to the nearest waterfall. And since I can't go into the water, I will also take my Kindle with me. And we also got to know a French couple that also comes with us. So we are a little 4-person group, which is always really fun, because I love just sharing culture with other people from different countries. And we already learned so much, even though France is basically a neighboring country, but I don't know that much about France, even though I studied French in school. But yeah, everything is forgotten by now. So I'm really excited to see the waterfall with them. I am so jealous. I also want to go inside, but I can't because I have to cross the water and I'm not allowed with my foot, so I have to stay here. And I really want to swim. It's our last day here at the resort in Koh Chang and we have to leave in a few minutes. So our vacation is almost over and we are really sad because we will really miss it here because the nature was so great and people were so friendly. But we still have one day in Bangkok afterwards, and after that we have to return back home to Germany, which is really sad because we don't want to go back. But yeah, that's the reality. Thank you so much for being part of my vacation, and you can also look forward to more videos from Thailand. For example, my Japanese book haul video, which will come out next week probably. If you don't want to miss that, please make sure to subscribe. And also, if you know someone who could benefit from this video, please share it with them. And as always, I will see you in my next video next Sunday. Bye bye!